It's Mike with Iceberg Gaming with today's Project Zomboid guide. Today I'm going to be going over how to survive your first day, what you should do on the first day to set yourself up for success. So let's get right into it. So before you get into this, I do recommend you check out my two videos on how to create the best character and how to learn to play the game, how to learn the combat. Check those out in the description, and let's get into it. So you're going to select your mode. Apocalypse is the hardest, Survivor Builder is the easiest, and you can do a custom game. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to go with Survivor, and let's get into it. And then I'm just going to go with Muldraugh is fine, and then I am going to go with my character that I used for my guide on the best way to play the game, or the best character to start with, and let's go. And once the game loads up, I do recommend you get into a crouch right away to sneak around, and we're going to turn this off. Usually this would not be on, but we're going to turn that off. And the first thing we need to do is find ourselves a weapon, and normally when we spawn in, we get a house with a TV. This was not the case in this time, but if you should spawn in with a TV, and if you do, you're going to want to turn that TV to the Life and Living channel right away. And that is going to be essential to developing your skills, especially later on. But for right now, this gave us kind of a bad start, so we're just grabbing the best weapons we can find, and then we need to secure a area. So this is not an ideal starting area, but this is what the hand we were dealt with. So if we were going to stay in this location, we would want to be adding sheets to all this stuff here so that the zombies cannot see in, especially in the bedroom. We're going to add a sheet here and close the curtain. And then any other sheets that we find, we're going to add to that. But for right now, next thing we need to do is we need to secure the area. So we're going to go out into here, into the world, and we're going to start killing some zombies. Your character is going to be very weak when you start out. You're not going to be killing zombies very quickly, so I highly recommend that you be very careful and not pull too many at a time. Make liberal use of the shoves on the ground and stomp them as much as you can. You can also whack them while they're on the ground with your weapon. And then you're going to make sure you're checking these guys for loot. We want to get as high bite and scratch protection as we can right away. So let's compare these to what we have. This is 10 and 20, and these are 10 and 20 also. So it's a wash there. We're going to want to put on a denim shirt. So we're going to wear that. And our goal is to secure the area and get as much protection for our character as we can. And one of the next very important items that we need to find is a watch, especially one that is digital. That'll give us the temperature and the date and time. And then we are going to need to find sources of food and water that we can carry around with us. So we are going to need to head into the houses. This is very dangerous when you are new and relatively weak, so just be careful. It is much more difficult to fight inside than it is to fight outside. When you're outside, there are plenty of other places that you can hide and kite. So be very careful when you are in buildings, when you're fighting. And the other thing we are on the lookout is for skill books, especially carpentry is the #1 that we're going to need. Tailoring is probably #2. And just any of the, especially the beginner books, the level 1s are especially important for us right now. That is going to be one of our top priorities. And any fresh food is what we're going to want to prioritize eating first, because that is going to spoil later when the power goes out. We would like to find some bottles of water as well to take with us and refill later. That is another high priority. Be very careful not to set off, or if you set off any alarms, you're going to want to run away right away, because it is going to attract a ton of zombies to you, and you're not going to be able to handle it. So if you set off an alarm, sneak away the best you can and get somewhere to hide, because there's going to be a lot of zombies coming. If possible, peeling off a couple to kill along the way is definitely preferred, so that they don't form a massive horde. That's going to be much harder to deal with later. Honestly, if you're just starting out and you trigger a a alarm this early in the game, I would actually recommend that you restart, because you're going to be getting this happening to you, and as a beginner, this is not something you're going to want to deal with. If you do happen to have something like this happen, you can sneak away in the woods. I recommend you exercise extreme caution going into the woods, as you cannot see through the trees, so it's very easy to get zombies sneaking up on you. But in this case, it is something that I had to do to get away from that massive group that was following me. The plus side is now we know where most of the zombies in the area are, so we can kind of do a better job avoiding them. Come here, dude. Now, in an ideal world, we want to find ourselves a nice house, a 2-story house with a TV. But this start is not a great one, so we have to make do with what we've got. So you're going to want to set yourself up for a base of operations where zombies are not going to be able to see you easily. So this is going to work relatively well for our purposes if we can get these windows covered, which we can. So we're going to go ahead and close the curtains, and now we'll be relatively safe in here to sleep for the night. And we also have access to water until the water goes out, so that is great. We just need a TV to build up our skills, but that is not strictly 100% necessary. Now, we are going to want to grab this corpse and remove it from here, otherwise it can make us sick. We're going to have to be careful here because we have not actually fully cleared out the area, and the corpse will make us slower and not able to fight as well. And we actually can't fight while we're holding it, so we have to drop it right away. Another great thing to look out for in the early game is bottles of water and pop in vending machines. The pops we cannot refill, but any water bottles we can refill. And we definitely want to have nails for later, and a hammer we're definitely going to attach that to our belt. The main tools you're going to need right away are a hammer and a screwdriver are the two things that you're going to need right away as far as tools go. Other than that, we need to be on the lookout for food and water, and preferably a TV, but it doesn't look like we're going to have access to a TV with this starting location. Any keys you find, just go ahead and throw them on your key ring. They don't weigh anything, so it's not going to weigh you down, and it'll help you out later if you come upon the things that key unlocks. Like I just found these 2 car keys, and I don't know what they're for, but they weigh 0, so you might as well grab them. And then if I were wanting to stay in this location, I would need to clear out all these rooms just to make sure there is no zombies. Earbuds are not a bad idea to grab. You can either disassemble them for skill, or you can use them with your radio and or television to limit the area that the zombies attract them from, are attracted from. And you can kind of hear where the zombies are because the game will give you audio clues. Like right now, we can hear one banging on the door somewhere, so we know we have to be careful going through doors right now. Usually, if you zoom in real close, you can see the door shaking if it is the door in question. This door is not, so it shouldn't be this one, but here we have a zombie coming in behind us. And our weapon broke. That is why we have one on our back. So we're going to switch to that right away. You can press 1 to grab the item off your back, and then you can press 2 to grab this thing on your belt, etc., etc. And now we're going to go ahead and drop the broken item. There are ways to repair it, but it's not something that is worth it for us. It is just a junk item we were using because it's the best we could find. Always make sure you are looking before you go somewhere. This can be helpful. Oh, Carpentry Volume 1. This is a fantastic find for early game. The two skills that are the most important early game for you to start developing are carpentry and tailoring, followed by farming and cooking are also excellent, and it's always good to have extra sheets to cover up windows. Now the banging is getting louder, so it is probably through this door. So we're going to go ahead and open this door carefully. If you want to be really meta, you can open the door, and this will disable the zombie's initial charge. But what I like to do is I just hit the E key to open and then swing my weapon right away with the left mouse key like that. And that usually whacks the zombie, at least to get it away from you. Now, be careful when you're sneaking up on them like that. If you don't do it properly, they are very close to you and can bite you. But if you are able to get a sneak attack off on them, it is a very good way to go. Now, this room has a mini fridge, so what we would probably want to do in this situation is we're going to use the pick up key to pick up this fridge. And we're going to take it up to the top floor. The top floor is always a little bit safer than the bottom floor, so whenever possible, you want to be on the upper level. Later in the game, if you find yourself a sledgehammer, you can destroy stairs to make your area completely zombie-proof, but this is not something to worry about until if and when you are able to find a sledgehammer. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and place this fridge. Now, any perishable food we find, we can place in this fridge, and it will stay good until the power goes out. Well, actually, not forever. Food does still go bad in the fridge, but it takes much less time. So you're definitely going to want to place any food you find in the fridge. Now, if you stand any zombie that's on its back, it should not be able to get up and attack you. So this is a great way to just keep them occupied, and then you can smash them. I do recommend that you keep yourself clean and your clothes clean as much as you can. It seems to help keep your character healthy, especially depending on the traits you have. If you follow my guides for beginner traits, it won't be too much of an issue, but certain traits can definitely be impacted by how clean your character is. So I do recommend you wash yourself off whenever safe and whenever you are dirty. The best items you are going to want to find in the early game are military boots for your feet and a leather jacket for your upper body. These are going to offer the best protection that you're going to need. And jeans are the best pants. And then you just want to find as many layers of gear as you can to just layer yourself up for the best protection. And you're also going to want to find, this is very important, a needle and thread kit right away, as well as scissors. Scissors will let you cut blah, 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 blah. Scissors will let you rip up denim and leather items. Otherwise, you'll only be able to rip up just cloth. And you're going to want to be doing this for not only for your tailoring skill, but to be able to make yourself patches later. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab this TV since our area that we were setting up for our base does not have one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and we're going to go ahead and head back right away. And then place it down in the little setup we've got for ourselves. And then you go into device options, and you want to make sure it is on and at the lowest volume settings, and you want to tune into Life and Living TV. Now, this will give you the skill shows. They are at 6 a.m., 1200, and 1800 every day for the first week or so, until the power goes out and they stop running. Now, since my character is a smoker, the next thing that I would need to secure is cigarettes. Otherwise, I will be in trouble later. I will be getting more and more anxious. Now, you can overcome with this with books, etc. But the best way to go is just to get cigarettes and smoke them. Or you could just not take smoker as your trait. So the shows are at 6 a.m., 12, and 1800. The 6 a.m., I believe, is usually farming. The 12 is usually carpentry. And the 1800 is usually survival, which usually alternates between fishing, trapping, foraging, and sometimes it gives you carpentry. This time it looks like it's giving us fishing. The least important, in my opinion. I've never gone fishing in Project Zomboid. Now, the best way to pass the time while you're watching these shows is to read one of the books, and you always want to be sitting down when you're reading because your character will read faster sitting. And the priority for this is carpentry and cooking because these are going to level the fastest with your TV shows. And carpentry is the most important skill, in my opinion, with tailoring a close second, as I mentioned. But you're not going to get any tailoring skill from TVs, so it's a little bit different case. Now, if you can't get a TV set up or you miss some of your shows, don't fret. You can find skill tapes out in the world later. Look for VCR stores, and you can watch the shows later on VCR, and you can level your skills that way. But I like to watch the shows and read. I think that is the best use of your time early in the game, but that is up to you. It depends how you want to play. They call it the couch potato meta when you just sit and watch TV for the first week. And now that you're all set up, you can start expanding your territory by clearing out zombies and start working on getting yourself set up with supplies for the future. Make sure you're clearing out as much area as you can, otherwise the zombies can migrate into your area and you'll have to fight them eventually. But now that you've got this set up, you're well on your way to survival. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'll have more Project Zomboid guides coming out, and I have a few up on the channel already, so check them out. Let me know what you think and what other types of things you need help with in Project Zomboid, and I will do my best to help you out with that. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.